Hey guys, can I
Um,
just say hi? It's Brenda Larkin. This is my first time joining this call, and I am not on camera because I'm in the car with a car full of people headed to North Carolina. But I just want to say hi and thanks for inviting me to the call.
Absolutely, and welcome. This is and that's what I'll talk about right now. So this call is called Friday Night Lights. We run this call every Friday night. We've been doing it for about 2 years. The call was essentially established really so that we could pay it forward, and any insights or any learnings or any mistakes or anything that we really experienced, we really wanted to bring to this call and really kind of pay it forward so folks don't make the same mistakes or they can learn from us. We also try and bring on whether it's subject matter experts or opportunities for other folks to talk, pitch deals. We've done a lot of things. We've done the gamut of multiple things on this call. And so we want to continue to do that. And that's really why we've established this call. It starts at 7 p.m. Eastern and runs till about 8:30. Uh, and it's just been a fascinating journey. I think the last right around January or so, we had gone through a deal. So we took a deal under contract in St. Louis, and we took this entire group through that journey with us from the start of the purchase and sale agreement and LOI all the way through the closing, which was actually this past week. So it's been a fantastic experience, and hopefully we, brought everybody along on that journey and taught you guys a bunch of stuff. The one thing that I have to do before all of our calls start is just we are not tax attorneys, we are not financial advisors, and we are not lawyers. So everything that we do here is for educational purposes only. And so always do your due diligence on anything that comes up, anything that you hear, and making sure that you guys make sure that whatever you're doing, that you're truly making sure that that's the best thing for you. So with that, the
hey
topic that we
Jay,
wanted to talk about,
hey,
yeah,
hey Jason.
yep.
Before we get started, too, since this is the first call since we've been with More, and that all four of us are here with Next Legacy, you think we might want to introduce each Next Legacy uh, partner, and so everybody can kind of know who we are and
Yeah, we could
going
absolutely
forward.
do that. So Tim is right. So we'll kick it off. So the call is being run by Next Legacy Group. Next Legacy Group is there's five of us. Four of us run this call every Friday night. We've been, like I said, running this call for about 2 years. Myself, Jason Ottilo. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I've been doing real estate over 5 years and own a bunch of different properties and really started partnering up with Teresa and Laura and Tim probably over a little over, well, our partnership started about a year ago, but we came together and started talking and meeting about 2 years ago. And I will turn it over to Teresa.
I'm Teresa Loos-Tedrow, and many of you I was able to spend some time with at the Grant Cardone event. So that was super awesome to be able to meet people and have dinner and do all that. That's super great. So yes, a lot of the questions that I got was, how did you find your partner group? And this is how we found each other. Is in this type of a networking situation. I mean, you listen and you learn, you hear what other people have to say, and you find out if those are people that you think will line up. Do they match or, complement what you need in your partner group? And that's how we found each other. So we're super excited that give that opportunity to other people. Like Jason said, we're trying to pay everything forward and give people more opportunity to meet new people and find what's going to work for them. I personally am from Illinois. I sit on the Mississippi River, and so very close to Missouri, which is where we're focusing our efforts right now in Missouri and Kansas when we're looking for multifamily real estate. And we have been excited to be able to put some deals together and help other people walk through the process with us. So we just really want to give back what we've learned and help y'all along the way. So I will turn it over to Tim. Tim Grambling is from Missouri.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks, Teresa. Tim Gramling, Kansas City, Missouri is where I'm located. Um, and where we're actually looking to do several deals right now. But so I'm a civil engineer by trade, been a professional engineer for 40 years now, and have moved into multifamily. I've actually been in real estate off and on in various ways for the past 20 years. When you go from multifamily, I mean, from single family rentals to the short term rentals to now into multifamily. So I've done a little bit of all of that off and on, and invested. I'm a passive investor in about 2,200 units myself. So yeah, and our group, as a portfolio, Next Legacy Group has now. We just closed on a property in St. Louis this week, so we add that to our portfolio number. Now we're 1,200 units as a group, and that's about 165 million assets under management. And we're vertically integrated with a property management company in construction. So we're well on our way, and we also have debt offerings, and we also manage a fund as well. It's a customizable fund. It's kind of a type of a fund of funds. So yeah, that's a little bit about what we do, and I'll turn it over to Laura from here.
Hello. Yeah, Grant likes to talk about finding your team, right? And it's a marriage contract that you jump into, so you got to make sure you date each other for a while to make sure it's going to be a good fit, like Teresa mentioned. Jason and I were on a project that we worked on a couple of years ago, and that didn't pan out through due diligence. And then Teresa and Tim were on a project together that also didn't pan out. And so then we all knew that we worked well together. Teresa introduced Tim to Jason and I, and it was a good fit. We talked about, our goals, our standards of, business practice, and we just all aligned really well. I myself am, I'm a passive investor in like 1,300 plus doors. And Tim mentioned what our group has under management. I'm originally from Alaska. My hubby and I both, we high school sweethearts. We have 5 kids, 13 grandkids, and we have been traveling the states in our RV for the last 4 years, just exploring parks and places that we haven't been to and seen, and going to markets that we want to invest in. So right now we're sitting in southern Mississippi on the coast, helping our son and grandson out. That's the benefit of being mobile. And we tell everyone we live everywhere and nowhere. It's a fun life, and our team is great, and we're just growing, and we appreciate you all being here. We love to give back. That's why this call will always be free, and we'll always be open and honest with all of our dealings that we have with everyone. And we want to just share our journey and help you along yours.
Awesome. So welcome everybody. Please feel free to come back. One thing that Tim mentioned before, we recently over the last 2 weeks have partnered with the M.O.R.E Club, and so we're now part of them, and really going through them and bringing together what I would say is 2 fantastic groups. So we're happy to be part of that. And so if you're from that group and you're joining us for the first time, welcome. And then again, we run this every Friday night. So this Friday, today, our plan was to really do a recap. There's been a bunch of things that have gone on this week throughout the real estate, specifically in Grant's group. So Grant had a real estate summit. That was a 2-day summit. There was a capital raising event that quickly followed that. I think some folks got to hang out at Grant's house, and we closed on a deal. So a lot of happenings this week, and really wanted to kind of try and recap. So Teresa, I don't know if you wanted to kind of kick it off and just talk about really the real estate summit and how that went and your learnings, and anybody else welcome to who was able to attend, feel free to jump in and kind of talk about what you got out of that, what came out of that. Is this something that, folks should really look into going to in the future?
Yeah, I'd be happy to kick it off. I was able to attend the real estate summit. I did not stay for the capital raising or was not there for the business summit, but super happy to be a part of the real estate summit. As always, it was my ninth summit. I have got the notebooks to prove it, stacked at home, and double checked it to see where I was at. It was nine. For those of you who are on our weekly blog email list and our newsletter list, if you're not, please let me know and we'll get you onto there. I did my blog this week, my newsletter on going to that summit. It's one of those things where it's, even though I've been to nine and pretty much the same time, it's the same. It's not the same, right? I mean, you're in a different place. I mean, this was definitely very unique for me, just because of the ramp up ability that we've had in the last month. We're really starting to get added momentum to that so that we can really move forward. And so I found that I was in a different place with this real estate summit. The things hit me different. Probably noticed things that I didn't before. And I'm really focused on not how many cards I get. I'm more focused on how many quality people that I meet. And I tried this time to not be so like, oh my gosh, I have to find somebody that I can, be with or partner with. I just wanted to, really enjoy the time. I was so lucky to be able to go to dinner with most of our investors. I think all of the investors that we have that were there, get to know them a little bit better. It was just awesome. I just absolutely loved it. Every single minute. And then, of course, Grant and his entertaining value. You are never disappointed with that. He's always got drama going on. And of course, this time we heard a whole bunch about the deposition. So definitely you are very ingrained in what Grant's got going on in his life. But the information he brings to the table and the people that he brings, I'm just amazing, right? Just amazing to be able to be a marketer like he is and put that many people in a room, and we get to take advantage of it. So simply amazing from my perspective. I'd like to call on Audrey. She was there. Tell us, Audrey, tell us your thoughts, because I think you were there the entire time, right? Business deal. Yeah. Tell us what you thought.
So yes, I was there for all three events, and it was actually over the top. So this is I think I went to the business summit last year and also the real estate summit, but it was in Phoenix, Arizona, or Tempe rather. And I had only really known of Grant for about 5 months. So being in the space for a year and a half now, the information that I got was just priceless, especially in the real estate summit. I attended the business summit just because I figured in real estate, you're going to have a business eventually because you got to manage, the money and everything. So I wanted to learn more about that. And through that, I met a couple people that are interested in acquiring a laundromat as well. So, and the capital raising workshop was amazing. I think they were supposed to cap it at like 50 people. There was like 142 people there. So it was amazing. And the networking capabilities that we had there was really good. And both of the two guys from Falcor, actually, I take it back. The three guys from Falcor were there as also. It was really good.
Which is a nice segue into the Falcor guys. Rob, Jeremy, Pat, are you guys here?
Yeah,
You
we're
want to
here.
fill us
Oh, yeah.
in on your experience capital raising?
Yeah, so I mean the capital raising event, we didn't get the entire package like Audrey did. I mean, she's a superstar for like I think she was there for like a whole month straight, I swear. I would have been tired after like 2.5 minutes, but she rocked it out pretty solid. So yeah, so we attended the real estate summit and the capital raising event the day after. And I mean, there was a ton of value add nuggets. I mean, for the most part, you get a lot of the stuff that you kind of see in his videos. If you're going through like the real estate accelerators or stuff like that, like there's a lot of stuff that is rehashed. But then there's more advanced pieces that Grant tells you about and talks about. The capital raising event had Grant, had Andres, and several other people inside of there that were kind of helping Grant kind of go back and forth with teaching different aspects about like the asset. So you're kind of proving the asset out, talking about like replacement cost, learning about the prior trades, the importance of like the price per door, using different structures when you're talking to investors about keeping it as simple as possible, where it's just like maybe an 80-20 split versus, an 80-20, a pref, because really there's no right or wrong on how you want to do your splits. It's kind of up to you, but just keep in mind that you're also competitive with other people that might be bidding on a property or something like that. So if you put your LOI in and there or not your LOI, but if you put your asset out there and you're talking to investors and stuff like that, and they're talking to you about what the LP portion of that looks like. If they're sending you, $200,000 versus another person out there that's they're going to invest the same amount with, if your structure is not simple enough or they can't repeat it back to you and it's very complex and convoluted, like they'll probably go with the more easier one where it's just like, oh, it's a 60-40, it's a 70-30, it's a 80-20, whatever the split is. So, also learning about the importance of being able to speak to your LPs about like the cash flows and the tax efficiencies, and about making sure that the expectation there is set for like long-term ownership. If somebody's wanting to invest with you, but they're like, hey, I want my money back in a year or 2 years or something like that, it's probably not the right investor, or maybe that opportunity is not the right opportunity for them. And then also making sure that you convey the urgency and showing that, there's committed capital versus remaining capacity, or kind of delineating between if you're not bringing any money or any capital to the table, but you expect all your investors to kind of fund it all. That's kind of maybe a little bit of I don't know, but whatever the right word is here, it kind of pushes the investor off. Like, you want me to invest all my money with you, but you're not putting any skin in the game. So, making sure that you're fully upfront about, the capital that you're bringing to the table, no matter how much it is. It could be $5, it could be $500,000, right? I mean, if you're putting all your money in and you're telling people you're putting all your money in, that kind of goes a long way to serving as credibility for yourself. And then, just kind of having that meaningful outcome for like co-investment and so on and so forth. And I think one of the biggest items that he kind of went through was the PDE, or the price, the debt, and the equity, and kind of what that was in terms of how he broke it down is you take the price and you estimate the debt that you're going to get, or the debt yield that you're going to get. So if it's a, $59 to $68 million property, you're probably going to get about $45 million worth of debt on it. And then it kind of breaks down the amount of equity you need to bring to the table based on that. So then you're looking at a smaller number that you're kind of running out to your investors with. And it's not as scary as trying to take down, say, a $68 million property, thinking, how am I going to get all this money for that? After you kind of do that PDE kind of breakdown, it breaks it down to where now you just have to raise somewhere between 14 million or something like that. So, and then you break that down to, if every investor is going to invest, say, $200,000 because that's your minimum, which you should also have that decided up front, like what's your minimum of entry. And he broke it down based on like the 506B, 506C, even the Reg A. But being able to delineate how many investors you're going to need to speak with to raise that amount of capital, so on and so forth. And I don't know if Pat's got anything else to say, but I'll let Pat jump in anywhere that fills any other gaps too.
Yeah, like Rob said, there was a ton of information to go through, and I'm glad there was two of us there, right? So if you can go in pairs, it's worth it. Because I think everyone hears something a little bit differently, or if you got to step out to use the facilities, whatever it is, you lose 10 minutes of something, you come back, you're like, oh my God, where's he even at? Because he moves so quickly through a lot of this stuff in such a colorful manner. It's ridiculous. And he'll for sure, like Teresa was saying, keep you entertained for 4 hours in a sitting. And you won't even realize the time has gone by. But yeah, I'll more recap what Rob said. I think from a capital raising aspect, keep everything simple, right? If you can't explain it to your investors, then they won't understand it. And so if you're talking about doing a pref, you better learn how the waterfall and all of it works. Kind of walking through the 80/20 split with a 6% pref. But he's also saying from a grant standpoint that profs aren't in anymore. And so if you can go through and get away from those, then it's best to do so because it's some of the deals aren't there out there just aren't able to cash flow enough to do both the split and a pref at the same time. And then overall, just if you guys can attend one of these, it's fantastic, right? You can watch 400 hours of videos and get a lot from them and learn the math and do everything. But the questions that people ask are invaluable to learn more and continue to deep dive into this stuff. And so I think me and Rob accelerated our learning probably another 20% just by being there for 3 days. Not only from an aspect of what Grant says and the questions that people ask, but I met another 50 people that some of them are on this call. Adrienne, Teresa, we both spent a lot of time. Bill, I spent some time with you as well, and Douglas, and so on and so forth. I mean, there's just tons and tons of people to meet. And like Jason was saying, and Tim, it's like if you want to partner with people and you want to really do this game and be serious about it, partnering is some of the best ways to go about this.
Networking
Perfect.
is,
So I'm just
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna just pick on some other people that I know were there, and if I missed you at the end, we'll get you in. Grady, fill us in, buddy.
I was a little bit disappointed in the capital raising because I thought they were actually going to give us some tools to work with, and I didn't see any of those tools. He went through the same type of descriptions that seen him go through before, and he's done during the real estate workshop. I just didn't feel like the capital raising was a good separate thing. Of course, I wasn't sitting in the front where all the action was, and Grant and Jana trying to figure out how to play off each other to beat one of the sellers. But for me, it just wasn't the value that I was looking for. Now, the real estate summit, I enjoyed it just like I did the one in Scottsdale. There's always something to get out of those real estate summits. So if you're sitting on the side, you better hang on because you never know what's gonna what change is gonna happen, what you're gonna get to learn. One of the primary things were the club members that sat up for an hour and a half and answered questions and talked about how they were moving through the different levels of acquisition. From a guy that was there, I think he said, what was he at 15,000? Adam, was it like 15,000 units or something? Or 1,500? I can't remember. But Matt Tyke was on one end, and then Jana was on the other end. So that was all great information, I thought, as well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that interaction, and he's done that several times. And I just always think it's just nice to hear that other perspective too. But yeah, that was super good. Kevin, are you there? Tell us about your experience. Stevens.
Uh,
And your
well,
your coaching thing you got
my
going on
thing,
here.
that thing.
Yeah, that thing.
Well, the elephant in the room is actually a unicorn now.
I was
It's the
just going to say
new
the unicorn in the room, not the
unicorns are
elephant,
the new
right?
elephant, just so everyone knows. Um, and they're smart, those unicorns. But I I tell you what, I'm kind of with Teresa. You go you think you've got to meet a lot of people. And and everyone has their style and method. But I get into some really great conversations with some really awesome people from all tiers of this business, right? Everyone from hanging out with you guys, hanging out with people who just walked in the door, to even having a moment to interface with Grant. I mean, and some of his team. There's no shortage of people to spend some quality time with, and it's definitely a room to be in. And you know, I got to tell you, I saw something maybe 2 weeks ago I think I was talking to those Falcor boys and I were chatting the other day. Anyway, someone on one of the calls, one of the the subculture calls, had come into the call from a different avenue. I don't know if the person is no longer affiliated with Grant Cardone, but it was a person who had bought some Grant Cardone stuff and said he didn't get anything out of it, and he was just being a Debbie Downer. And I just don't know what room the guy was in. Because if you go to these events and you're not picking up great stuff, if not from Grant himself, like we already noted, the entertainment value is of itself. It's like a great club visit. So, if you haven't been able to make it, it's always got value, but the nuance and the network is, the powers in the network, because this is our team sport. So loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks,
know.
Kevin. Appreciate it. Lance, I see you've got a
Oh,
question.
wait.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm always
Cut
getting
off the unicorn.
I thought I was
Oh,
going to be a
no.
good coach, but I was going to be a good coach, but then Teresa just no. So I was anticipating becoming a coach, and dragged it out a while, but I had to have room for more fire hoses in my mouth. So yeah, you're looking at the newest 10X business coach, and I'm real excited
Yay.
because we're all in this business helping each other, and now to kind of put it into structure, it's going to be a lot of fun because it's a great complementary opportunity, and I love giving it away. So if I can make a little money on the side, I might as well. But just love supporting everyone, and I'm really excited about the next part of this journey. So thanks for the time, and thanks for being you guys.
Are you done, Kevin? Can I move on now?
Congratulations, Kevin, on making
I
it,
guess
man.
he is.
Congratulations.
Okay.
You
Lance,
got his
let's jump
permission.
to your question.
I just don't know what to say to that.
Okay, how could you guys hear me?
Yes.
We
Okay,
can hear you.
appreciate it. Yeah, I was down there for about 5 days, business summit, leading into the real estate summit. I went there for the real estate summit and just tacked the extra days on. So had a great time. Already bought my other ticket for next April or next July.
Awesome.
Any big
Thanks.
takeaways from the two?
Well, I've been to a lot of different communities. I was pleased that it was such a great community. I thought that with the diverse marketing channels he had, it wouldn't be as cohesive as it was. So I have some partners there that are already partners of mine, and then some that may be here soon. Met a lot of good people, and it was nonstop. 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock, nonstop for 5 days.
Yep. That's great, Lance. Sorry I didn't get to meet you. Who else from the summit? I see some other people. Bill Dalton, go ahead.
All righty. So
Wait, you're going to say the highlight was having dinner with me, right?
2 nights.
Yeah.
The first night was really the highlight because
Yeah, it
we didn't
was.
think we were going to get dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pizza joint was crazy.
It was packed.
That was well planned. So yeah, my focus I started in January, so I was in Scottsdale for that, and there I was like a deer with headlights on them, just absorbing everything in there, not really knowing anybody. And there I was at the business summit and the real estate summit. So this time, at least I had a better plan with those folks that interested in investing with, or have invested with, or about to close deals with. So my priority was making sure my wife met those folks so that she knew who I'm associating with, I guess. I want to make sure she's comfortable in this whole process as well. So overall, I mean, I had a great time. I met a lot of people, Rob and Pat and them. So Grady, we had dinner with him. So great weekend, or great Monday, Tuesday. enjoyed it. Had a wonderful time.
Perfect. Thanks, Bill. It was nice to meet Lisa.
Yeah, she enjoyed it.
Perfect.
I think Deborah had a question too.
Mine's not about the summit. I'll be there in October though.
Okay, perfect.
No, I had a question. So I dropped my first LOI and I guess I got the seller's attention, even though I went way under what they were asking. But now they want a buyer's interview and I'm kind of lost on what to do with that. Because I'm very new to the real estate game. I've shared it with a couple people, the property and stuff. But I was kind of doing what Grant said, drop those LOIs and see where it goes.
You created a problem to solve. Well done.
I did.
Well done. Yeah.
Deborah, are you going to be able to stay on the call the whole time? Do you mind if we finish with the other and then come back to yours? Is that okay?
Yeah.
That's fine with me.
Okay, perfect. That way we'll stay in the one
We can
vein
help
and then
and
we'll
we
come
can help
back
you
to
out
that.
at the end. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Thank you.
You bet. Who else from Summit? I know there's other people, but I'm not going to put you on the spot unless you want to talk. You know who I'm talking to, right?
So this is Doug Lane. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I was at the summit. I actually went to all 6 days. The business summit, I learned how much I don't know, gave me some direction. I now have better targets and have a lot to figure out with my own personal business. The real estate summit was really why I went. I took my son. It was good for him to learn that information. We have a meeting on Monday where we're going to go over and decide what next steps are. The whole purpose was to get him interested in this so that I can transition out in the next 7 years and he take over. So, and then I too was a little disappointed in the capital raising. I got a couple little nuggets out of it, and most of it came from the networking with other people while there. Didn't get a whole lot of, hey, this is how you do it. I think the biggest thing I took away from that was simple is better. 2 or 3 slides paints the picture when you're talking to investors. So I got some value from it, but Grant likes to go on tangents, and so I didn't get as much as I was hoping to.
Yeah, I think the nuggets are what we just have to focus on, right? I mean, because those do always come out. So that's great. Who else? And then we'll let Jason move on with the next subject.
Yeah, I was there.
Margaret.
Yes, I was also at the real estate summit and the capital raising, and I was very happy to be able to meet people in person. You know, like Teresa, I've always seen her on the screen, finally get to meet her in person. That was awesome. And for the capital raising, I was a little disappointed with the morning session. I felt like I didn't learn much, but then in the afternoon, I thought it was very educational to see how Grant and Jenna banter on how to get the deal and how to solve problems, and the way that Grant approached the problem, you can tell he has a lot of confidence. So that's one of the things that he said he cannot give us. We have to learn it for ourselves. So I guess time will tell.
Great. Thank you, Margaret. It was a pleasure to meet you and spend time with you. I enjoyed it.
You too. Yes, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on the summit? We have a lot of people that attended the summit here. That's pretty good numbers there.
Yes,
Brendan.
I'm here.
Oh, wait, Crystal was
Yes,
there. Okay,
Crystal.
Brendan, you're next. Go
I
ahead,
was there.
Crystal.
I met Matthew. I met Adam. I met his other partners, and I think it was his son. I saw Enrique. We took pictures with Enrique and his son. I was it Brandon. I saw Brandon there. We took pictures. Um, I feel like it went by so fast. There was a lot to absorb, a lot to acknowledge. The book was a great giveaway, something to sit down and bring back home with. But with everyone else, I'm waiting for the next opportunity to go back and spend more time with everyone and get more acquainted, have more collaboration, more network. These video calls that we are always having, it's good to inherit, acknowledge, and speak and keep the motivation and the collaboration going. I love when we have all these Zooms. So I did not see you there. There are others that I didn't get to see. We spent a good time there. We actually got on a boat ride afterwards, so we had to leave a little bit early on one of the real estate days. But to everyone who did see me, and then if not, until next time, we will take pictures.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that made me think, Crystal, of a story. I was walking in the lobby going to meet my friends for dinner, and I saw a guy that I thought, man, he looks familiar. And you know how you see so many people, and I saw him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he looks familiar. And then I saw his wife, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And they're like, Teresa. And so it was somebody I met 2 years ago at the business summit, and they stayed for the real estate summit, and they were there this time for the business summit and were leaving, but we happened to see each other in the lobby, and so it's just so cool. It's like, we've texted a few times since then, and just to be able to keep those relationships, it's just super amazing. So who else had? Oh, Brendan, can't let you go without talking, buddy. Everybody's giving you grief, man.
I guess I'll start off with that note. Probably the first thing that I took away from it is, I guess that'd be personal marketing. Because there were multiple people that came up to me to introduce themselves because A, they saw me asking questions all the time because I was one of a small handful of people that kept asking Grant questions during the events. And I was there for all three of them too, the business, real estate, and the capital raise workshop. Mixture of that and my kids. Multiple people, yeah, you're the guy with the kids and the calls all the time, aren't you? And I know some of you guys here from Missouri, so I was going a little tangent. If you don't know who Andy Frisella is, the CEO of First Form out there in St. Louis, he tells a story of how he got stabbed in the face when he was in college, and like had ridiculous scars on his face. He survived, obviously, and he tells how that scar ended up being his biggest benefit to him in business because it gave him something where everybody recognized him. And obviously, thankfully, I don't have that scar, but to have something, do something where people recognize you. And for me, that seems to be my kids. And I'm always, well, I guess you guys, but I'm always talking. Sorry, that sounds bad when I say it that way, but I'm always asking people questions. And the other people that I noticed that stuck out were people, one guy wore like a bright, flashy gold suit. A couple of the ladies wore bright red dresses. Like they do these little things that make them stick out where everybody recognizes them. There's that. It was super awesome to see how much a lot of Grant's staff are genuinely there to help and support people like us. You just having normal conversation with the staff, and you can just tell that they're not there to sell you. They're real people. That was really cool to see. And then with that, it just there's so many parts to that whole event that you're not going to get them from these calls. You're not going to get them from talking to people over Zoom. The natural conversations you have with people while you're there, and the natural conversations that provoke Grant. Like I think the most beneficial technical teaching that I got from the whole event was Grant explaining how one of the other members can negotiate some money off of the deal that she's doing. It was so detailed and intricate, in such an advanced level, it's something that has to be provoked from questions that happen randomly at these in-person events. So from all that, like I wasn't sure if I get, if I'd really get much out of this or if it'd just be like the Zoom calls in person. But after that event, I need to get to as many of those events in person as I can because it just provokes so much conversation and knowledge naturally. You have to be there to get that. And of course, there's so many people that you meet, through the business summit. There's so many people that are in the real estate club and stuff that they just don't go to the Wednesday and Friday Zoom calls. There's just so much. I was gone from 7 in the morning until 11 at night every day because I was out meeting people, talking to people, dinner with people. Incredible, incredible experience. So now I need to figure out how to get to as many of those as I can.
I would
Yep,
call you
that's
the
what happens.
yeah. I'll call you the curiosity guy, not the guy that talks too much, right? Is that a better name for you? There you go.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I couldn't figure out a better word for it. So yeah, I like that. I'll take that one.
Seeking knowledge. You're seeking knowledge is what you're doing.
Can I
Anyone
speak
else
real
on the
quick?
summit?
Can I speak real quick?
Hi there.
Hi, guys. I wasn't at this one, but I was at last fall where I met Jason. And we did the Bring Your Deal and the capital raising as well as the RE Summit. And you learn over time to appreciate in comparison sometimes when you're at other events and things. Grady made a comment that I probably made the same first time I was there, expecting more from the capital raising or whatever. But the key is so much knowledge that Grant shares and just a great perspective that he shares for that. And so I want to kind of retract how I first initially responded and say it was a great experience and definitely worth going again. And I will be there again, but haven't been there this year. It's been challenging for me financially, but I'll get there. So just want to make a quick plug there. Thanks.
Travis.
Thank you for that. All right,
Yeah, I
Jason, why
thought,
don't we move on? Oh, sorry, wait, somebody else?
yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was great,
Go
good
ahead,
air.
Angela. Mhm.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if we had lunch together or not, but you look awfully familiar.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but yeah, the last summit I went to was virtual, and I says no, I want to go live because I need the motivation and all that kind of thing. Oh my goodness, what a difference. It's like watching a game on TV or actually going to the game. It was like huge difference. And like what Brandon was saying about the staff and everything, I met him. He's cool. But I met Justin at lunch, and that's how I got involved with you guys and everything here. And I thought, oh,
Perfect.
this is perfect. But yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoyed the summit because I got some little extra tidbits, and but the capital raising, um, it's Greek. And I gotta buckle down and learn that stuff. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and
but
that's,
yeah,
I mean, don't feel bad about that because I mean that is definitely a higher level and you've got to get all that other got to get all the other stuff in your brain first before you can tackle, the complexities of capital raising. And maybe it doesn't have to
hmm
be that complex, but our brains tend to make it that way. It can.
Well, that's what I appreciate about you all because you're there to help us out with things. So
I
I
think
think
Teresa may
Teresa
have
froze on
frozen.
us.
Yeah, I think she froze on
yeah,
us.
So
but yeah, I
Um,
appreciate you all.
yeah,
I'll
no,
chime in
thank
on
you.
a couple. I'm going to chime in a couple of things that people have said here to kind of maybe wrap it up. But the idea about going to the real estate summit, being there in
Back
person,
and
I've
move on to
I've been to three, and I can speak from experience that he does generally the same thing every single time. But as you get more into this and as you get more experience, every time you go, even though he may be saying some of the same stuff, it comes across differently each time. So it's really a different experience each time you go. Teresa can speak to it better than any of us. She's been to like 9 of them. So, and she still says the same thing. It seems like I mean, it's very familiar, but it's also a different experience, just because of, your own personal, journey during the way. And as far as the confidence issue, um, you get confidence by doing, it's not something that you can buy or gain by just reading about it, or sitting and watching other people do it. So I would encourage anybody, the best way to get confidence is just dive in and do things, do stuff that's uncomfortable. The more you do the uncomfortable things, the less uncomfortable they become. So I would just add my 2 cents worth there. Go
Yeah, and
ahead,
I
Jason.
just became very uncomfortable because my computer shut down and I was imagining that all 60 people got cut off, but thankfully you all were still there when I came back. So that was a very uncomfortable moment for me. I feel myself growing right now.
It was a good freeze face, though. It wasn't a weird freeze face. It was a smile. So you're good.
Oh, good.
That was
Excellent.
good.
All right, Jason, take it away.
Yeah. So just to wrap that all up, really, it's really about getting out there and networking with. I know we talked a lot about the grant stuff this week, but there's been multiple groups that all 4 of us have been to events. It really comes down to being able to network. That's how you're going to find your partners. That's where you're going to learn more. That's where you're going to connect to people. Things absolutely happen when you meet people. It could be the oddest situation in the world, but it really comes down to connecting, going to events, whether they're grants or other ones or even local ones by you. We highly, highly suggest doing as many as possible and really getting yourself out there. That is probably one of the most important things. The stuff that you learn at the events is extremely important. And if you go 9 times like Teresa, or I think I've been 6, I have all the badges up here. It starts to like really become a second nature, and it will sink in and you can practice that, but the networking part is really what sets you apart and what will kind of catapult you into that next realm. And speaking of that, Audrey, did you not go to Grant's house? How was that?
I did go to Grant's house. It was all right. I bet you there was 75 people there, and a lot of the same familiar faces that are on some of these Zoom calls. It was pretty good. Grant showed up about 15 minutes before it ended, and then he made his way around the patio, I guess, and introduced himself and then took pictures with everybody. And then he just had a little small talk with everybody. And then actually, Grant's staff actually sent the pictures to us. So that was kind of cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's kind of hang out at a billionaire's house and a billionaire's row. You know, life-changing type things or moments that can happen, right?
And it makes you think or dream big about what you can
Yeah,
do.
right. Like, you can have that too, right?
Right.
That's awesome. All right. Well, this has been fantastic. I think we want to pivot a little bit, and Deborah, we'll kind of go back to your question here. And then Henry, I saw you responded. You used to be a broker. Do you want to kind of chime in and talk a little bit about the broker's interview? Are you still on, Henry? Thought I saw you.
Henry, where are you?
Maybe not. Maybe he dropped. Well, he did leave his contact information in there, Deborah. It's probably good to get to check in with him too. He might have some insights into that.
I did
Um,
get that.
okay, cool. Did you get any like what the interview looks like, the list of questions, what they plan on asking?
Not at all. They just said that my offer was competitive and that the sellers wanted a buyer's interview call.
So you made it to what I would say best and final, and so now they want to
I,
interview you.
so
So
yes, I created myself a really big problem.
no, you created yourself an opportunity is what you did,
Yeah.
right? The buyer's interview is basically them trying to make sure that they're selecting the person that they believe can close the deal.
Okay.
Now, you said you're significantly lower than what they're
Yes.
asking. So you were kind of throwing something out there, expecting them not to pick you.
Yes. I mean, I did do the numbers. I did do the
Mhm.
numbers, and it was within range, but it was on the very low end of the range. So I kind of was doing it. It is a good property. Do not get me wrong there. I do love the property. I have been looking at it for over a month. And I just threw that number out, figuring I'd be told to kick rocks, and I go, yay, I did my first LOI and
Right.
go on from there. But all of a sudden now they're like, no,
And
that's
it,
competitive. Let's go.
so it quickly turned into an oh shit moment, like I now have to get on the
Yes,
phone. So you love the property, right? Would you
I do.
okay.
It is a Class
Um
C property,
mhm.
but I do love where it's at, and the numbers look good. And it's got 27 units that need updated. So there's room for growth there.
So where's the property located?
Macon, Georgia.
Oh, okay. Are you in Georgia?
I'm not. I am about a 3-hour drive from there, but I
Run
know the
away.
area.
Run
Yeah.
away.
Run away. Who
I
said run
think
away?
I think I saw
I
Henry
said run
come.
away. Macon, Georgia is not a good market.
Oh, there you go.
You think you're getting cheap deals, but it's not a good market.
Which is maybe why you're competitive. But is Henry
Henry's
back?
back. He's back. Henry, are you there?
I am.
Hey Henry. So we were just talking about the interview, the broker interview, or the buyer
Yes.
interview.
Yeah.
Can you give some insight, I'm assuming you've been through a couple of those, and kind of give Deborah some insight as to what usually happens in those?
Yeah. So a lot of it, if you have no experience with them, especially if you're going into a new market, it's just credibility. That's all it is. So if you can establish credibility early, you can control the meeting. So one thing I've always done from a coaching standpoint, so I've done real estate coaching. I've helped with this. So I know Macon very well. I know some successful property owners in Macon that own 40 plus unit properties there, and they will not buy there anymore unless it's like an absolute like fire sale. So it's really about understanding the markets and the pockets there. So I
Okay.
can possibly connect you with somebody local there with boots on the ground there that can really help understanding like what areas of Macon are good. So definitely shoot me a text with that. I'll connect you with that on Monday. But to answer your question, what I always tell people to do is to put together a credibility kit for your group. Um, and this is like maybe an 8-page little deck to really explain who you are, what you guys are doing. And remember, a lot of it is about your team because this is a team sport. So if it's just you on the deck, then it looks like, all right. Then they say, all right, how much money do you have? Show me your bank statements. But if you
Right.
have a team there and you can get some people to even just be on the presentation on the slide deck with you that you can speak to and be like, hey, can I just put you on my team? And you can leverage their credibility, their portfolio if they have it, and then they're not really going to ask you for bank statements. And if you don't have a SRO, you're going to leverage your teams. You're going to leverage your team for that. So when they ask if they want to see proof of funds, you can say like, hey, we're going to syndicate this deal, so I'm not going to run around and get all of my investors' bank statements until we get this deal on the contract. So
Okay.
you can push that back, but you have to say that confidently. You can't stutter when they ask for that,
Right.
So I would try to just get some people and leverage their portfolio, or even people on this call that have a track record that they can put on, that you can put on, and just use their profile in the little deck to say like, hey, this is our team. We're looking to syndicate the properties, and be very specific with your buy box, right? Because that's what they're
Okay.
going to want to see. The more specific you are, like like we only buy properties 40 to 80 units, this vintage, class B or, C plus, value add, we're not looking for a heavy lift. We have contractors locally that we work with, just really very specific to that. And then that way you hop on and it's more of a conversation as opposed to an interview.
Okay.
Was that helpful or am I just throwing a lot at you?
No, it is helpful. I definitely need to find a team to come along with me. I've talked to a few people about it. Joanna from Heartland, she actually helped me underwrite the deal. So I guess I'll reach out to her some more and see if she would be willing to do this with me. I know it's not in her buy box, but she was interested in it.
Did she know that you got the interview?
I did email her. I haven't heard back from her yet.
Okay.
And then I would, like what Henry was saying, reach out to somebody he knows. Macon is like 2 hours from me.
Okay.
I agree with him. It's hit or miss. So you probably want to dig into that and the fact that you were shooting on the low end and you made it right in. Maybe your offer's a little too high.
Yeah, I keep looking back at it and I keep running the numbers, and like I said, I had Joanna help me write it, and
Sure.
it was on the low end of hers too.
Sometimes
So
it's location, right? Like you're not going to be able to dump it, and maybe they can't dump it either, which makes your offer competitive.
Right. And I
right.
would, want to walk the property or have someone
Yeah.
locally walk the property just to get a sense of it. And also, just because you're competitive now during DD, you can always retrade, right? Once you have a better understanding of the property, the CapEx that's actually going to be required, and or at the end of the day, is all the CapEx you're putting into it, is it even going to pay you back and reach the expected, the projected rents? So the answer is it all depends. But if you're searching in that market, you want to keep that relationship with that broker. And if you do part ways, you want to cordially part ways and just make it, I would either blame it on a partner, be like, oh, they're just not committed to this property specifically, but maybe the next one, or maybe they
Right.
tied another deal. I'd blame it on something else, but you want to keep that relationship going because once you submit an offer with them, you go onto their list as a potential buyer.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Any questions?
It does make sense, and I definitely will get with Henry and look more at the area of it, because all the research that I've done seems to be it's in an okay area. It's not in the center of Macon. It's a little more on the outer ring. But having somebody boots on the ground that knows the area better than me would help.
And I also have a few investor credibility kits that I can share. I have like the template that you can modify to make it your own. So
Okay.
we don't call it when you submit it an investor credibility kit, but that's what it is. And you'll call it like your company profile. Seems more professional.
Yeah, I definitely have to get with somebody because, like I said, this is my very first. I'm just learning. I'm learning as much as possible, as fast as possible.
That's good. Trial by
Well,
fire.
Good job on
Yes.
taking action.
Love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
taking aggressive action.
Exactly.
It definitely has scared me, but it also has made me step up and email and get a hold of more people.
You got this, and you got.
Leave it alone. Just leave it. Nobody's touching it.
Um, and there's like 60 people on here who are absolutely willing to help you too. So please feel reach out to, and even us here too. Like reach out to us. You can see if we can help you. If I'm able to, can even go up to the property, etc. So
All
awesome
right.
job.
Thank you guys.
Awesome.
One thing they did say at the capital raising, if you're afraid then learning is about to take place.
Mhm.
Well, I have
There you
definitely
go.
been terrified of all of the actions I've been taking, so I'm learning.
There you go. All right, Travis, I think you had a question.
Kind of question for Henry, but anybody would love to know like what brokers do for checking out. It's like checking out your credibility and things like that. Maybe I love the thought of getting your copy of the investor credibility packet. What like I'm an LP and I've got, 4 different apartment buildings that I'm invested in, but how would you state that? And what are some important things regarding the people that you are connected with? Grant, Thrill, do you drop names like that in your bio or anything? Can you kind of give us some pointers on that?
Yeah, so the answer is it all depends, right? So if you're buying in the same buy box as Grant, then you can name drop like that. But as a broker, I would leverage more on your experience. So for your example, I would say like, you have X amount of doors. I wouldn't even differentiate GP or LP. I would just say like I have this many doors in these markets. And that's how I would leverage my experience with that, having that, but also from your background, I think like a little bio kind of explaining your background, your knowledge, your experience in real estate and what your areas of focus are. That really goes a long way. um, but if it's in the market, like if the properties are in the market that you are a LP on, you can certainly drop addresses, be like, hey, I'm an owner here, I'm an owner here, I'm an owner here, and my group is looking to focus in this market now. So, I mean, that carries a lot of weight too.
And assets under management are usually just the active apartments that you're in, right? You wouldn't include AUM for LP investments.
I would just frame it more like doors, have this many doors or this many
Okay.
units. Yeah, because it
Is
sounds
single,
better. Because if you're not actually managing the assets, once that gets uncovered, then it's like, oh, wait, what? Creates
yeah,
uncertainty.
yeah, that's what I figured. Thank you. And
Usually assets under management means specifically you're a GP manager on the deal.
that's what I figured. Um, what about single family experience? Is that at all like flips or anything helpful to put in there?
It helps conversationally if you've done many, but when you go to the bank, that's not going to really hold weight.
Okay. I appreciate the discussion with you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Deontay.
My question, Travis had most of it covered, but kind of also to the point, wanted to expand on with the process of first LOI, and at least from the processes of where I've gotten to, I've submit the LOI, get to either best and final option, just got that the most recent opportunity to then have an additional week, resubmit, kept the same number, same terms, all that, but did add a team member and wanted to see what that is from the broker's perspective or people that have run the full loop or further of a loop than I have of what that is. Should we have everything all set before the first LOI, or if we are getting interest and selection, then start pitching it? Just want to hear y'all's thoughts.
You want me to go again?
Yeah, I mean, this is the
I
Henry
just kind
show
of
right now. So
open of
they want to hear from a broker.
All right. Yeah. So, I'll tell you from the other side of the table, submitting offers to brokers. When I do my underwriting, I'm not going to put my top number on my first LOI. I'm gonna throw an LOI out there to see if we're in the ballpark, and then I'm gonna dive deeper. So that would be the first thing when you're submitting your LOIs. Leave some meat on the bone, a little buffer, just in case you have to come back. and come up to be a little bit competitive. But if you're way off to begin with and they let you know, they give you feedback that they're getting a ton of offers much higher, then you'll get a sense there, right? You want to put a feeler out. But again, first LOI, not really much experience. I think having that investor like profile credibility kit when you submit your LOI, because as a broker, like I know who the buyers are in the market, I know who the top owners are in the market, I know who the most likely buyers are in the market. When I get an unsolicited offer from someone or a new investor that I've just met and never done business with, I want to have the full gamut, because when I'm presenting LOIs to the ownership or ownership group, I want to make sure that I can explain that, hey, even if you're the highest bidder, are you able to close? Like, this is a new person. I've never met this person before. I've never done business with them. Nobody in my office has done business with them. I want to know that if I'm going to present that offer to the ownership as a competitive offer, I want to know you can close. I want to know you're serious. I want to know that you guys have a track record, maybe in another market. You're looking to break into this market because you're the person that's local and your team is not. Whatever that story is, that story needs to be conveyed in that first offer to be taken serious. Or else you're just going to get like a, hey, send me proof of funds and give me your best and final. And that's kind of I don't know you, just let's see if you're real or not. Let me see something that I could present to ownership when I present your offer with all the other offers.
Gotcha. Okay. I think I was the latter, but that's at least an improvement from where we've been before. Thank you so much, Henry. And also to just weigh in with Deborah, I've had underwritten a few properties in Macon a few months ago. I hadn't ever seen where they landed. Touch base with me if you want to compare notes if I had looked at the one that you have.
At that, providing value, folks on the phone. Thank you both, Henry. And then Tim, if you want to weigh in, we actually made a couple of offers this week from a broker standpoint, and just similar conversations, right? We usually don't go in with our kind of best offer.
Yeah, yeah, I've noticed a huge difference, here more recently because we've worked with these brokers and actually done some deals with them and that kind of thing. And so the conversations are a lot different now, and they're more forthcoming, and so they'll give you a lot better idea of where you need to be. And that we've made 2 offers on 2 different properties. I've had multiple conversations with the brokers on each one of them. One of them we weren't planning on actually making an offer because they actually told us the guidance on the project was 47 million, and my underwriting was coming in at 39. And we just typically think that's usually just too far off, to think that we're really going to be in the running on that. So we were going to kind of pass on it. But the broker called me, the day that they were due, and said, "Hey, are you guys going to offer?" And I was like, we're coming in at 39, so we're not really going to be competitive. And he goes, "Well, no," he said, you need to submit that one. He said, "because I'm getting a lot of offers in that same general area, and the highest offers are not much more than that." He goes, "You'll probably get the best and final with that offer." So, in the beginning, when I would make offers on properties and they didn't know who I was, I wouldn't get those kind of calls and those kind of conversations. So, yeah, it's good to have those relationships with them and for them to know you well enough to be able to do that. So
Great context and goes along with what Henry said. So
yeah.
All right, folks. Kind of an open forum now. So we kind of went through the topics that we had planned. We have about 15 minutes or so. Is there anything that has come up over the last week? If you've been on another call, hadn't had a chance to ask a question, if you've been in some other group, and something came up and you were curious and you didn't want to ask, but feel free to ask here. We have a lot of folks on the phone as well as ourselves that we can try and help out. So I'll kind of leave it open to questions. So Audrey up first.
Okay, thanks very much. So my date for the night when I went to Grant's party was Jana from MIA.
Nice.
And so afterwards, her and I were talking about something. She actually shared something with me, but there's a deal that I think they just acquired where she was talking about equity swipe. have you guys had any deals with that? Because I had never heard that term before, so she was kind enough to explain it to me.
I have not. I don't know.
Did you say equity swipe?
Equity
Is that-
swipe,
Equity
like
swipe.
I
Yeah.
haven't heard that term before.
not swap, right? Equity swipe.
No, equity swipe. So apparently they just got awarded a deal where it's almost at the point where it's a bank, a return to the bank. And she was saying that equity swipe is all the investors that put in for that deal will not get their money back because they're upside down.
So they're basically taking a loss on the property, so to
They're
speak.
taking a huge loss on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I didn't know if anybody
Okay.
else had heard that term equity swipe before.
I have not heard that term. I don't know that we've come across that.
Lance here. I completely followed where she was going with it, but I've never heard that
Right.
equity stripping. But I don't even think that really applies. I don't think that's the correct term for that.
And
Don't
I've
want
heard
to
of it.
experience it, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I've
don't
heard
want
of
to
it as
experience
like
that.
being a sweep. I don't know if maybe her southern accent sounded like swipe, but
No, I asked her, I said, did you say equity swipe? And she said, yeah. So she said, essentially, all the investors in on that deal originally, they're losing all of their equity in it.
yeah, they're sweeping it up. Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe they said equity wipe, as in
No,
wiping out the equity.
she
Equity.
said equity swipe.
Yeah,
So,
so she may have said
okay.
it. You might have
Yeah.
heard it differently from somebody else.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, the equity gets wiped.
Well, that's terrible for the people who invested in that deal, and I hope to never be in that position.
Yeah.
That's
Good
right.
night.
Absolutely.
I wonder,
Uh,
did they say when it was purchased? Was it like 2020 or 2021, something like that?
2023, yeah, somewhere in there.
She didn't say, I guess they have 3 other deals that are in the works right now. So it was one of them that they just acquired.
Yeah. Just wondered if it was, because if it is, that's the big correction that we're being told about for like the last 2 years. It's happening, and I am hearing more of that. In fact, these 2 deals that we offered on are kind of a little more distressed than the ones we've gone after before. They're coming out, and that's another thing the broker was telling me. They were a little more honest about what the seller situations were, and that they were, one of them was being forced to sell because the debt was coming due at the end of the year, and then they had something between the partners. It's in a trust, and it triggered something that's forcing them to sell. They have no choice. So those kind of things are happening. And then I think I heard somebody say something earlier about offering something low on a property and not expecting to get it. I'm also hearing that uh, I think because of the uncertainty in the market just in general, I think it's causing a lot of offers to be a lot lighter. That's what another broker told me, that people are not wanting to be as aggressive right now. And so all the offers, and that's kind of the one I told you about, that where they had a guidance of 47 and all the offers are coming in much less than that. I think that's kind of a result of this same situation, that this lull in the market that's not letting the interest rates come down is also kind of working in our favor, that the offers are not being as aggressive either. So I wouldn't be afraid to submit if you're underwriting a showing a much lower offer, I wouldn't be afraid to submit a low offer right now.
Yeah, I was just talking to another broker today as well, Tim, where build cost was 9 million for a 2019 Class A build for 40 units. And I was getting guidance from the broker around 5. So that
Would you say it was 19 million?
no, they built it for 9 million.
9.
It's
Okay,
for
yeah.
40 units that was built in 2019.
Wow.
And the broker was like, they'll take anything with a 5 in front of it, and they're asking 5.4, and math works pretty good at 5.0. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I have some more underwriting to do, but it's a steal, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
almost half off.
Yeah. Even Ken Gee was saying that too, that he's seeing that in the market as well. So
Yeah, so there's definitely going to be a ton of opportunity.
Yeah.
And getting in on and timing is everything, right? Getting in there, getting them because sharks in the water, right? Blood. They
Yeah.
all smell it, so everybody's gonna come.
The other thing I'll throw out is just I don't know, just a tidbit, I guess, for everyone to know. We're into July now, into the year, and something to be aware of. The later you get into the year, um, making deals, making offers, and all that kind of stuff starts to get a little more um, hairy, I guess I'll put it that way. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to be in the middle of a capital raise around the holidays. So between Thanksgiving and the first of the year is a really bad time to be capital raising. And so right now, I mean, if you're making offers on deals now, you can probably avoid that. But when you start getting into September and October, just think long and hard about that and take that into account. If you're gonna have a short due diligence period and have to get your capital raised on a short time frame, that's gonna be a tough time to do it. So just FYI.
Yes, and we've actually done it, so
Yeah.
it's definitely difficult.
Yeah, we're speaking from experience there.
Yeah.
On the note of fund of funds, I had heard reverb. I'd heard that it could take 3, 4, if not 5 months. Is that accurate? Because then in theory, that's already exceeding all your extensions from your LOI.
You're talking about setting up a fund of funds?
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, we did a fund with Avestor, the platform. It's a customizable fund, which is a similar type thing, and it took us
10 weeks, I think,
what was
right?
it? 6
It's
to
10
8 weeks?
Yeah,
So, yeah, 10.
I think it ended up being 10. I think they
Yeah.
said they can try and fast track 6 weeks. 5 months is a bit long. I don't think you would hit 5 months, but I believe ours took 10 weeks.
Yeah. And we
Okay.
were pretty responsive. He said usually the
Yep.
thing that drags it out is the response of the fund manager, and we were pretty quick on our end of it. So
So basically, at that point, if say 2 week or 2 months, if you're attentive with it, you got 3 months total for the whole timeline, so you can get all the soft commits, and then whenever it's all live and ready to go at the last month, lock it all in. Is
Yeah.
that how y'all approached it?
Well, we started it our conversation started in June, and then we made the commitment in July, and then the
Yeah.
fund went live in September.
Gotcha.
So if you're trying to raise money before you set it up, that might be a little bit sticky
Oh,
because
and
you
then
don't
that,
have
yeah, that
anything.
probably
Yeah.
SEC stuff.
Yeah, it's a little sticky because you don't have any paperwork in place. You don't really have anything going. You can establish networks and connections and tell people what you're doing. But actually trying to get commitments and raise funds, you might want to just make sure that you have all your paperwork in place and that you're able to do that. And if it's a 506B or C, depending on what you're setting up. So you probably want to make sure all that's in place before you actually start capital
Yeah.
raising.
But so I'll add a little bit to the capital raising issue. Capital raising is more than just when you get to the part where you're needing money. Capital raising starts long before that. And I know you hear people say a lot of times, start your capital raising before you have a deal. And people always like, well, how do you do that? Especially if you don't have a track record, what are you going to point to? It's not so much about talking about deals at that point. Capital raising is all about establishing relationships. And what you're going to find out is that the hardest money you're going to get is the first investors. After you've talked to them for months, maybe even a couple of years, and you've done deals and all that kind of stuff, the next time you go to them will be a lot easier. I mean, I tell the story all the time about I talked to a guy that I work with for a year and a half about what I was doing before I even got into a first deal. Talked to him about what I was doing and all the enthusiasm I had about it, what I was learning, and he kind of was progressing in the project. He was kind of living through me on that. When it came time to get into the first deal, I mean, because he always said all along, yeah, let me know when you get one. I want to get in on it. Let me know when you get one.
Yep.
First deal I got in on, I said, hey, I got a deal. And he said, I'm in. I didn't have to tell him what the deal was. I mean, that was the easiest money I raised. But that's because I was talking to him for a year and a half before that. So just keep that in mind. you're building the relationships and talking to people, finding excuses just to stay in front of them all the time, talking about, you can talk to people about, hey, these are the deals I'm looking at. These are the kind of deals that when I do get one, it's going to look like this. And here's the kind of returns I'm looking at. You didn't even have to actually be a deal that you're going to do. Also talk to them too a lot about deals that you didn't do and why you didn't do them. That builds a huge amount of credibility with investors when you do that. So plan now. You can be getting into a fund of funds, but you can also be, talking to those people and establish those relationships now, starting tomorrow.
Indeed, yeah, and I align with that part and have seen to it and trying to continue to see to it of keep the network, but more so of the logistics. And I know the SEC, and so just exactly how that. And when I'd heard the 5-month quote, and I'm like, well, if 3 months is like the absolute max, that's backwards.
Well,
So
and Brandon, you're on, right? Like you've done it actually faster than that, right?
I haven't had to form an entity yet, but depending on what kind of fund you're getting into, some of the simple SPV funds have kind of been templatized by certain forms like TribeVest or Sponsor Cloud. So you can actually set up the structure for some of those within a few weeks. I'm told by by their people. So if you have a deal that you want to raise for as a fund of funds sponsor, you can get it set up more quickly, but it kind of depends on how well in a row the rest of your ducks are. If there's missing information or question marks you have to settle, then it does take longer. But the structures themselves, the PPMs and the documents, a lot of those have been templatized, so they can churn out those entities and structures a little bit more quickly sometimes.
fair enough. Thank you, all three of y'all.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of good information out there. Thank you, Brandon. Brandon's fantastic, by the way. So a lot of good information. If you need to hook up with somebody, hook up with him.
Yeah, he's a smart guy.
Yes.
Thank you, folks. Appreciate that. Likewise.
All right, guys. Any other questions before we let you go on your date nights or watch TV or whatever you're planning to do this Friday night?
I'm working on my TEDx talk. So if
TEDx
anybody
talk.
wants to,
What's your topic?
talk or wants to read it, just hit me up. The name of it is 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Is that how long you have?
But I'm hoping to have a few more than that. You mean for the talk or in life in general? Because if it's life in general, I better go say some I love yous quick.
I was gonna go with the talk.
No, the talk has to be 8 to 10 minutes because it's a
8 to 10
TEDx.
minutes.
So
30
the
seconds.
TED Express as opposed to the 18-minute. Thank goodness.
I would love to hear it because I always listen to those, and some of them are really good. Some of them not so much, but
She can do
I'm
she can do
working
it on
on
this call, can't she? We'll let her do it on this call, won't we?
you want to
Next week?
practice now or next week? When is your TEDx?
I fly out next Saturday.
So
I
you
fly
want
out
to try it
week.
next Friday?
Yeah, as long as I'm packed. Hopefully, maybe I'll have it memorized by then.
Well, remember, it's only 8 minutes, right? So you can
Yeah, anybody can
you
remember
can
8
knock it
minutes.
out, right? Yeah. And then you can go pack right afterwards.
I can. You're funny, but I'm a lady. I have to take longer than a couple hours to pack. It's not like a man. 2 suits, 2 shirts, 2 ties. We're good to go. Socks. Oh yeah, underwear. Wash those in the sink.
Well, when's your flight out on Saturday?
7:30 in the morning, and the airport's 2 hours away.
So if you join a call at 7, you do 8 minutes, you'll have 12 hours to pack. You'll be fine.
You're great. You're great. Yeah. But if anybody likes this kind of thing, wants to read it between now and then, reach
And
out.
then you can sleep on the plane.
That'll make us all
There you
come
go.
back on Friday to hear your speech.
There you go.
Exactly.
Okay, the first line.
So-
Who remembers being 5 years old? That's the first line.
Well, we'll save that for next week, but that's awesome. You should definitely come back and practice it on us. We would love to
Awesome. I'd love to.
hear it. So
That'll
awesome.
help me know where I get tongue tied.
All right. Well,
I got a question.
With-
Sorry.
oh, go for it.
Sorry. And Tim, not to call you out, but I was wondering if, you wanted to share something about your fund with everyone.
Who's speaking? I can't see.
Adrian,
Adrian. Oh, about
about your
Yeah,
fund.
Yeah. The fund in general, or are you talking about the debt offering that we have?
The debt offering.
Yeah, so what Audrey-Ann is talking about is we have an investment opportunity right now. It's not a real estate deal, but it is backed by real estate, and you can invest with us. And what we do is we loan the money out to one of our other partners that has properties outside of our group. Um, he pays the loan back and generates a return back to you. So depending on how much you invest, you can get 6% on the low end, a minimum of 50,000. You can get up to 12% if you invest over 250,000. It's only a year hold, a 12-month hold. So it's a short term. It's very good returns. If you've got some money that you're kind of not sure what you want to do with yet, and it's sitting in a CD or something like that that's not drawing very much interest. This is a great opportunity to kind of have a place to sit and have a great return. And then also too, the other added benefit from that is if we get a real estate deal along the way, one of these two that we've put in for, and you want to convert that into an equity position into one of your deals, we can let you just roll that directly into that, and you don't have to do anything at that point, because it's already in the place it needs to be, and you don't have to be there a year yet. We can do that within the year. So yeah, if anybody's interested in that, hit us up on that, and be glad to talk to you about it. It's been pretty successful so far, and we've done one distribution from it. I think we're getting ready to do another one. In about
August 15th.
Yeah, another 15 days. So we'll be deploying the next round of loans out around the 10th of August. So if you want to get in, if you get in now before then, you'll get your first distribution in September.
And so this is a cash flow type investment?
Pretty much.
Correct. It's
Pretty
just
much,
cash
yes.
flow. Yeah. So
Nice.
it's earned income.
Need some cash flow.
Yes, this is fantastic cash flow. Honestly, we only started this in June, and an incredible amount of people have invested, and we believe we're potentially could be filled up at some point. So
I put information in the chat on it.
How do we get to this chat if we lose the stuff later?
we can send it to you.
Yeah, I can include the information when I send out the link to the recording. I'm sorry, we're having storms in my area, and so I can't put my video on. It keeps cutting me off. But I will definitely send it out. The minimum is 50K. We actually accept down to 25, but the first break is at, up to 50 is at 6%.
Yeah, then between 50 and 100, you get 8%. Between 100 and 250, you get 10%. And over 250, 12%.
Where most of our investors are, over 250.
Some people might appreciate hearing how to save the chat too, in the 3 ellipses in the upper right corner of the
I have a
chat.
question.
Does that save links, Travis, or just the text? So yeah, he's talking about it right above the chat where it says more clubs personal meeting room, and then there's 3 dots there.
Yeah.
You can hit that and it says save chat underneath that, and it should save. I don't know if it saves the links to everything, but it saves all the information that's in the chat.
It saves them as text. They're in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, couldn't find my unmute button.
Hey, peeps.
What's up? How are you?
Yeah.
What's your question?
Oh, she went on.
You muted yourself.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
We're having storms here too, in Madison, Wisconsin, not too far from Teresa. But did you guys talk about when you're going to close on your property? I
Yeah,
might have
we-
missed it.
Yeah,
we
we closed on
closed.
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
You did?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
It's all closed.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Send
Done.
up the party hat, sister.
Yes, that was
Yeah,
definitely
it's
that was a
Madison
good one.
celebration.
Yes.
Definitely.
Confetti popping everywhere. Woo.
I can't find it.
That's got to be a great feeling.
A fantastic feeling because as a group, I think it was a lot of work. So it was definitely it was a good feeling Tuesday.
Quick, Jason, if anyone wants to talk fund of funds a little bit more, for those who know Joseph Caston, for those who don't, he does funds of funds. He's going to be on our Sunday night call, and actually our brother Brendan here is going to be pitching his deal. So
very cool.
Yep. So if anyone wants to come by Sunday at 5, talk fund of funds.
Awesome. Well, we have deals closed, which we're super excited about. We have opportunity with the debt fund cash flow. You can join Kevin's call. Denise is having storms, and I think it's frozen right now. And Teresa is also having storms. So
I want to know if Denise heard back on her. She put in that LOI on that property.
I think she froze.
Not that kind of storm.
Yep.
Nope.
And then stay tuned on our next opportunity coming up, hopefully soon.
Yep, we have multiple offers out. So hopefully we should have a new opportunity within the next month or so to bring up to this group. So I want to say thank you all for joining. I appreciate you. If there's anything you ever need, please reach out to us at any time. And hopefully you all have a fantastic Friday night.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you guys.
Have
Have a
night.
good weekend if I don't see y'all until then. But Sunday, I'll get into Kevin's. Everyone else, I'll see you. Have a good night.
See you.
Bye.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody. Be safe.